Something happened 3 months ago that nobody reported. An American reconnaissance aircraft flew deep into hostile airspace, not the edge of it, deep in. For 47 minutes, enemy radar was active. Their air defense network was fully online. Interceptors were fueled and ready on the runway less than 8 minutes away. The plane came home safely, no shots fired, no diplomatic incident, no news coverage. You probably think that's because of the stealth technology, maybe an F-22, maybe something we haven't publicly acknowledged yet. You're wrong. The real reason that aircraft came home is something far more interesting and far more terrifying than a single stealth platform. It's not a plane, it's not a missile, it's not even a single piece of technology, it's a system. An invisible architecture that most people on this planet, including most of the people who work inside it, don't fully understand. And once I show you how it works, you will never look at modern warfare the same way again. Stay until the end. The last section is the one the Pentagon would rather you didn't hear. Put yourself in this position. You command an air defense network. You have modern radar. You have interceptor aircraft. You have surface-to-air missile batteries positioned across 600 miles of strategic territory. Your radar pings. The contact appears in your airspace, then nothing. The contact disappears. Your operators check the equipment. It's functioning normally. You wonder if it was a weather anomaly, a sensor glitch, a civilian aircraft that wandered off course. You stand down, it wasn't any of those things. That aircraft didn't disappear from your radar. It was never visible to you in a meaningful way from the start. Not because of its shape or its radar-absorbing coating alone, but because of something operating at a level your entire defense network wasn't designed to counter. Now here's the thing that most defense analysts get wrong when they talk about American military superiority. They focus on hardware. F-35s, carrier strike groups, hypersonic missiles, B-21 bombers, hardware matters, but every major military power on Earth has sophisticated hardware. Russia has hypersonic glide vehicles. China has carrier-killer ballistic missiles specifically designed to deny the U.S. Navy access to the Western Pacific. Iran has enough short and medium-range ballistic missiles to saturate most regional air defense systems. So why do American forces operate with a freedom of movement that their adversaries simply can't replicate? The answer isn't a single platform. It never was. The answer is information, and more specifically, a systematic, a structural advantage in obtaining, processing, and acting on information faster than any adversary can respond. To understand what this system means, you need to understand what war looked like without it. Go back to 1991, the Gulf War. At the time, the US military was the most powerful conventional force on the planet, and it still flew missions partially blind. Coalition intelligence knew Iraqi positions from satellite imagery, but that imagery was hours old by the time it reached the pilots who needed it. Iraqi Scud missiles were launched, and US forces spent enormous resources trying to find and destroy mobile launchers, and largely failed, not because the launchers were invisible, but because there was no system that could track a mobile vehicle in real time, correlate its position with intercept capability, and deliver a firing solution before the launcher moved again. 14 years later, during the opening hours of Operation Iraqi Freedom, the situation was fundamentally different. US commanders had what analysts called near persistent coverage of Iraqi forces. They knew which divisions had moved, which commanders had left their headquarters, which logistics convoys had stopped, and they knew it in something close to real time. The gap between 1991 and 2003 wasn't new fighters or new missiles. It was a revolution in how information was collected, processed, and distributed. And everything that's been built since 2003 has made that revolution look primitive by comparison. The system has 4 layers. Understanding all 4 is how you understand why it's effectively undefeatable. Layer 1 is the sensor network, and its scale is something most people genuinely underestimate. There are currently over 77 acknowledged US military satellites in orbit across multiple orbital planes. Radar imaging satellites that can track a moving vehicle through cloud cover and complete darkness from 400 miles up. SIGINT satellites, signals intelligence, that collect every radar emission, every radio transmission, every encrypted burst of data from military communication networks anywhere on Earth simultaneously around the clock. That's the top layer. Below the satellites, a global grid of ground-based radar installations, some operated directly by the US, others by allies in NATO, the Five Eyes partnership, Japan, South Korea, Australia. These aren't just air defense radars, they're intelligence collection platforms feeding continuous data into the same network. On the surface of the ocean, US surface combatants attack submarines and maritime patrol aircraft operating in every strategically significant body of water on the planet: the Persian Gulf, the South China Sea, the Baltic, the Arctic Ocean. Every one of these platforms is simultaneously a war-fighting asset and a sensor node. Below the ocean surface, a system called the Integrated Undersea Surveillance System, a network of fixed hydrophone arrays installed on the ocean floor across key choke points and transit routes. This system can detect and classify submarine acoustic signatures across entire ocean basins. When a Chinese or Russian submarine leaves its home port, US naval intelligence knows within hours. And then there are the unmanned platforms. The RQ-4 Global Hawk, the one that's publicly acknowledged, operates at 60,000 feet for 34 consecutive hours, scanning 40,000 square miles of territory per day, with sensors that can resolve objects the size of a laptop from the edge of space. The RQ-180, barely acknowledged publicly, operates higher, longer, and quieter. Most of its capabilities remain classified. All of this data, billions of data points every single hour, flows continuously into processing centers. And this is where layer 2 begins. Raw data is useless without interpretation. And for decades, this was the central problem of military intelligence. Organizations could collect more information than their human analysts could ever read. The 9/11 Commission famously found that warnings existed in the intelligence system before the attacks, buried in reports that never reached the right people in time. Not because the information wasn't collected, because the volume overwhelmed the humans trying to process it. The solution the military arrived at in the early 2000s was machine learning at a scale the civilian world wouldn't see for another 15 years. Today, the AI systems processing this continuous sensor feed don't just organize data, they interpret it. They correlate a radar system activating in a specific frequency range with a fuel convoy moving toward a known missile storage facility with an encrypted communication spike from a command structure that previously showed those same patterns 48 hours before a weapons test. To a human analyst, those are 3 separate reports from 3 different collection systems. To the AI, they're a 71% probability that a weapons test or operational launch is being prepared within a 36-hour window. Think of it like this. You've seen how a chess engine works. It doesn't just calculate the best move, it evaluates the opponent's probable intentions across dozens of possible future positions simultaneously. Now imagine that applied to real-world military operations running continuously across an entire planet. That's what this system does. And it does it faster than any human decision cycle. But here's the critical piece that most analyses miss. The processed intelligence doesn't sit in a report. It's distributed instantly to every platform in the network simultaneously. Military planners call Layer 3 the kill web. Understanding why it's called a web and not a chain is the key to understanding why it's so difficult to defeat. In traditional command structure, information moved in a hierarchy. A sensor detected something, reported to a command center, which analyzed and issued orders down through multiple command layers to the platform that would act. That process took minutes, in some cases, hours. In modern warfare, a target can move, an aircraft can scramble, and an engagement window can close in under 90 seconds. The kill web eliminates the hierarchy entirely. Every platform in the network is simultaneously a sensor and a potential shooter. An FA-18 pilot acquires a target. Before he completes his tactical assessment, that targeting data has been automatically distributed to 3 destroyers, 2 submarines, a B-21 raider at altitude, and a ground-based precision strike system 400 miles away. Every one of those platforms has the target. Any one of them can engage. Whoever has the best shot geometry, the best weapon match, the best probability of a clean kill without collateral effects. The enemy cannot defeat this by targeting one node. There is no single node. The network is the weapon. And adversary systems built around central command nodes are inherently vulnerable in a way the kill web is not. Layer 4 is the one the Pentagon discusses least openly, and it's the most important. Military forces are not random. They follow doctrine. They follow logistics constraints. They follow patterns, preparation signatures that, once cataloged, repeat with surprising consistency. Chinese naval task forces leaving their South Sea Fleet bases follow routing patterns constrained by their fuel capacity and standard supply chain timelines. Russian armored formations preparing for offensive operations show preparation signatures in their logistics activity and command communication patterns 48 to 72 hours before execution. The system has now processed enough continuous observation, years of it, to have cataloged these patterns in detail. When it detects the early stage signatures of a recognized pattern, it doesn't flag it as possible threat. It flags it as a probability assessment with a confidence interval and a projected timeline. In 2022, US intelligence provided Ukrainian forces with warnings of Russian missile strikes, in some cases before the launch authorization had been transmitted to the launch units. That's not an intelligence coup based on a human source inside the Russian command structure. That's pattern recognition operating at machine speed on a data set no team of human analysts could replicate. What this means in practice is this. By the time an adversary commander decides to execute a military action, US planners have already wargamed the response, pre-positioned assets to counter it, and in some cases have already executed preliminary actions that will change the outcome of a battle that hasn't started yet. You are not responding to what they're doing. You're responding to what they're going to do. 3 reasons this system cannot be meaningfully defeated, and I want to be specific about each one. First, the scale requirement for disruption is impossible to meet. To degrade this network to a level where it loses its decisive advantage, an adversary would need to simultaneously destroy or disable dozens of satellites across multiple orbital planes, hundreds of ground stations across 4 continents, undersea sensor arrays in 3 ocean basins, and distributed processing centers that are hardened, geographically dispersed, and backed by redundant systems. The architecture is specifically designed so that the system maintains full operational capability after losing up to 30% of its nodes. A successful conventional strike on one processing center doesn't degrade the network. It reroutes around it within seconds. Second, every deception attempt makes it stronger. Electronic jamming, decoy movements, false radar returns, spoofed communications. Every technique an adversary uses to deceive the network generates new training data. The AI learns the deception pattern. The next time that technique is employed, recognition is faster and more confident. You cannot sustainably fool a system that is architecturally designed to learn from being fooled. Third, the technological gap is not closing, it's widening. China's Integrated Joint Operations Platform and Russia's Unified Tactical Control System are serious development programs, but they are running 15 to 20 years behind a system that is not standing still. Every budget cycle, every advancement in satellite sensor resolution, every improvement in AI processing speed and algorithmic sophistication, the gap extends. Here's the question that's probably forming in your mind. Why does any of this matter to someone who isn't in uniform? Because the system is no longer exclusively military. The infrastructure, sensors, AI processing, real-time distribution, predictive modeling is being applied to every domain that shapes your daily life. Cyber operations, economic warfare, disinformation campaigns. The same architecture that tracks a submarine in the Pacific is being adapted to map the financial flows that fund foreign intelligence operations, identify coordinated inauthentic social media behavior before it reaches a scale, and locate the nodes of foreign influence networks operating inside the United States. The next major conflict between great powers will not be decided primarily by who has the most tanks or the most aircraft carriers. It will be decided by whose information architecture is more complete, more accurate, and faster. And here's the implication that gets very little public discussion. As this capability expands, the line between military surveillance infrastructure and civilian monitoring infrastructure becomes less distinct, not more. The sensors don't know the difference between a foreign military asset and a domestic civilian. The AI doesn't have jurisdictional awareness. What it has is data. What that data is used for and who decides is the question that the next decade is going to force into the open. The aircraft that flew through hostile airspace for 47 minutes came home because of this system. Not because it was invisible, because the pilots knew the exact location of every threat before any of those threats could meaningfully respond. That's the real face of American military power today. Not the F-35, not the carrier strike groups, though those matter. The system underneath all of it, the invisible architecture of persistent information dominance that makes every platform more effective and every adversary less capable before a single shot is fired. 2 questions I want you to think about and put your answer in the comments. First, which of the 4 layers do you think is hardest to counter, and why? Second, if 2 countries are both operating this level of information dominance, what does conflict between them actually look like? Because that scenario is no longer hypothetical, and nobody has a clean answer yet.